my weekend reading vlog that I did this past week that you guys might have seen. I decided to do a weekly reading vlog this week. I don't think it's going to happen again next week. It really depends on how I'm feeling. I stopped doing these at the end of August after the newts because, as you guys may know, if you follow the weekly reading vlogs, I did them all throughout June, July, and August because in June we had the second round of the Biblio games. In July we had the first round of the Bookie Trials that was hosted by Rachel Marie Book Journey, I think is her channel name now. And then in August we had the Newts, which was hosted by Book Roast. So I did weekly reading vlogs for basically 3 months straight, and I said that, you know, because September and October weren't going to be really focused on any readathons specifically, I was going to kind of like, you know, slow down on the weekly reading vlog, stuff like that. But for some reason, Saturday I was really in the mood to do a weekend reading vlog, and I really liked how I did that reading vlog and the filming aspect of it. I was really excited that I got to go back to doing that after not doing it for almost a month. And so I decided I was going to continue with it and do a week-long reading vlog. So I think this is just going to go though from Monday to Friday. I don't really know how this week is going to pan out because there's a lot of stuff in my work life that's changing, so I don't know exactly what it's going to entail for my, you know, reading purposes when it comes to like listening to audiobooks, because what I have been doing is listening to the A Dance with Dragons audiobook, and I really like it, but I have like I think one more day left of it, so Monday I have to finish it, and I'm really upset because I thought I had at least another day with it, but I don't. So I have a little over 200 pages of the book left, and according to the audiobook I have a little over 11 hours left of it, so it is entirely possible for me to finish it tomorrow, but it would basically have to be, I'd have to be listening to it literally my entire day, from either when I wake up tomorrow morning or at the very least when I leave for work tomorrow morning, and then all the way through my day until probably like 6-7 o'clock in the evening tomorrow. So it's gonna be crazy, and I am listening to it at 1.5 speed, so maybe it'll get a little quicker. It is feasible. I know I can do it if I really just set my mind to it and things don't end up too crazy tomorrow morning. I don't think I have any meetings at all, which is very helpful because I feel like that would be the worst aspect of it all, is if I had meetings. That would like cut up my time with listening to it. I also this week want to try to get through maybe at least another arc, maybe start 2. On Sunday I ended up finishing Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and I really liked it, so I'm kind of getting back out of a reading slump that I've had where so far this past month I've DNF'd 6 books that were all arcs because I wasn't really enjoying them. But I kind of have a feeling I might be DNFing the next one because I don't really quite understand the story from the synopsis, and that is The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl. I don't even remember the author. This kind of has like not quite a apocalyptic scene going on or something like that. Like, it's, from what I can tell, it's about this guy who's like obsessed with video games. He knows the ins and outs of them really well, and like has a pretty good idea of how he would handle some kind of a, you know, post-apocalyptic scene based on these video games or whatever. And then something happens and he has to protect the people he cares about, which includes a girl he really likes, but she doesn't know about it. So I think that's kind of what's supposed to be happening. I don't really know, but I have a really strong feeling I'm probably not going to really get through much of it before I decide to DNF it, because the one that's after that in my list of arcs to read is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang, which is the sequel to The Poppy War. And I read The Poppy War in August during the Newts, and I absolutely adored it. I loved it so much, and I have seen so many great things being said about the sequel since it came out in August, and I know I only have the ARC version, but I am so excited to read it. I just want to read it so bad, so I might be DNFing The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl. I don't know. We're going to see how it pans out. I'm going to start it on Tuesday after I finish A Dance with Dragons, and hopefully I can get through with The Gamer's Guide, but I really highly doubt it, and I'm more than willing to bet that I'm gonna get through like 10%, just to be like, screw it, I'm just gonna throw this off and just go to the Dragon Republic because I'm too excited to really do anything with it. But I will try to give The Gamer's Guide a fair chance, because who knows, maybe by the time it hits 10%, you know, in my Kindle, I will actually really enjoy it. I was quite surprised with how Wilder Girls ended up with me. Like, I didn't even realize that I got through a quarter of the book when I first started it. And today I read like the second half of it and I absolutely loved it. It was so great. I don't know if I'm gonna pick up another audiobook. I might. It really depends on how I'm feeling after I get done with the Dance with Dragons. But I'm not even really counting minutes for Dance with Dragons because I'm technically reading the physical book along with it. So I'm more so tracking the physical book than I am the audiobook. So maybe I'll pick an audiobook because I don't have an audiobook for the month for September, and I usually have an audiobook that I read throughout the month in general. A Dance with Dragons kind of was just one that I was like, okay, I'm reading the physical book. I like reading the physical book with the audiobook, so I'm just gonna do that. I do need to go to bed because I have to get up for work early tomorrow. Tomorrow after I get out of work, I do have to run a couple errands. I'm gonna go to Barnes & Noble to look for something because today I ended up buying a copy of Amanda Lovelace's To Drink a Coffee with a Ghost, which is her newest poetry collection, and I want to see that if they have that at Barnes & Noble, if they also then have Slay the Dragons, because at this point that is the only poetry collection of hers I do not have, and the last time I was there, which was last week, they didn't have it, so I wonder if they must have gotten it in like a new shipment or something. And if not, it's not a big deal. I'm also going to go there to see if I can find a specific cookbook, well, not really a specific one, but one specifically for vegetarian-based meals, because currently in my personal life, Robert and I are deciding that we're going to start doing vegetarian-based meals because we tend to eat a lot of red meat. I think I mentioned this in my weekend reading vlog, but I'm not sure. I don't remember if I cut it out or not. We've decided that we want to kind of try to cut out meat in general because we eat a lot of it and it seems to be doing kind of more harm than good. Like, it's not really doing anything for us, and when we actually use the meat, it's a lot of fat and a lot of grease, and it's not really healthy for us. And he and I have been both dealing with like just this idea of us wanting to eat better and get back to working out and stuff. And especially for me with my anxiety that I've been dealing with recently, I think that the working out aspect is going to be a lot better because I'm going to be focused more in my mindfulness of my body and how it works and things of that nature, and trying to rework my brain really to stop focusing on so many outside bad things and focusing more on myself and what I'm doing and things of that nature, and more of what I am able to control. So hey guys, it is just after 4 o'clock in the evening now on Monday, and I've just gotten out of work and have stopped at Barnes & Noble. I was gonna film as I was driving, but I really hate my car mount that's in my car. It does not like to keep my phone stable at all. I think it's because it's got like this swivel head to it, and so it really doesn't like to ever stay still. So I just decided to wait till I actually had stopped and gotten to the bookstore. So what I am planning on getting today is I plan on getting first Wilder Girls because, like I said, I really want to get a copy of that now that I finished the arc and I really enjoyed it. And then also I want to find a collection of short stories that George R.R. Martin wrote that is kind of a prequel to some of the Song of Ice and Fire story. I have Fire and Blood, which came out in November, but previous to that he had released a collection of short stories that kind of all ran together, like they were all part of the same story, I think. The reason I want to get that though is because today at work I was able to finish A Dance with Dragons, which, holy crap, I cannot believe I actually finished that. I am now almost completely caught up with like the real main series of the story. Like, you don't absolutely have to read the prequel stuff, but I really want to read Fire and Blood and this other collection of short stories because they are, I think, in a lot of regards, important information. I mean, it's all having to do with the world and understanding, you know, especially the political aspect, like how things kind of got to be where they are now. But the main series I am fully caught up with right now, and I'm really excited, but I'm also really scared because I really would like for book 6 to come out soon, but I know it's probably not going to come out until probably like next year, if Martin ever actually decides to finish it. So I'm really nervous. So I know for sure I'm going to get those two. I know that there might be a couple sales going on though, so I might see if there's anything else I want to pick up, but this is going to be probably the last time I'm going to be going in and buying books at the bookstore because I'm kind of deciding that I want to go on a book buying ban and actually stick to it, because Barnes & Noble is like the only store really close enough to where I live that I would even like to go to. I could probably get books at Target and Walmart and Meijer if I wanted to, but they're not nearly as good as going to Barnes & Noble. So I hope that not going here is going to deter me from buying books and using my local library more. But I kind of want to get a couple more books just to have to add to my collection and then leave it at that, just so I can kind of have a nice clean break from it all. So I'm gonna go in and find what I need, and then I need to do a couple more errands. I need to get gas in my car, and then I need to also go to the bank real quick before I head home tonight. I don't think I'm gonna be reading really much at all the rest of the night because it was a feat to get through A Dance of Dragons. I basically read 240 pages at work because I had nothing to do literally all day. So that was awesome. But because of that, I probably won't be reading much else today. Maybe start my next audiobook. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to start it or not. I got Bird Box, which is the novel that that inspired the Netflix series, or Netflix movie, I guess I should say. Hey guys, so it is about 20 to 6 right now in the evening, and I've just gotten home, and I'm gonna sit and do some yoga and some meditation. Because I didn't film anything while I was in Barnes & Noble, I want to show you guys what I got. It was really weird. Like, literally every person that was there that was working, which were all guys, weird enough, and one girl, they all were like coming up to me, like getting in my face about asking if I needed any help, and I'm like, no, I'm fine. It's all good. I know what I'm looking for. So I did find both the books I wanted, and I found a book that I've been wanting for a long time that I actually finally got a copy of because it was actually pretty decently priced. First, I got the Barnes & Noble edition of Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I looked online and it said that basically this has a deleted scene from the original like manuscript that is involved in this, and something else, like I think maybe a Q&A with Rory Power. There's an author-editor interview and a deleted scene within this book, so I'm interested to see what that deleted scene is, because now that I know that there is a deleted scene in here, I want to know which one it is and like where it plays into the story. But now let's see what it looks like naked. Ooh, it's like a really like dark green, and it's got like this copper foiling on the side for the title and stuff. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. The other book that I found that I was looking for is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. This is the 3-story collection dealing with essentially two characters who are like, it's placed 90 years, I think, before the events of A Game of Thrones. This is basically just a collection, though, of short stories that George R.R. Martin had written that were kind of part of this kind of set called Tales of Dunk and Egg, I think, where Egg is one of the Targaryens. I think it's Aegon the Fifth, and it's kind of supposed to be in relation to like how there's, in the story, there's Tyrion and there's Podrick Payne, who Podrick is like his squire, I guess, and Dunk and Egg are supposed to be kind of mirrors of Tyrion and Podrick Payne. Those were the two books I wanted to get originally that I did find, and then the other book I ended up finding, which was $10, and I was so excited to find because I have been wanting this book for so long, ever since I found out that it was originally a story that was adapted into a movie, I'm fairly certain, and the movie is one of my most favorite movies of all time. It is one of my movies that always makes me super happy when I watch it, and that is The Princess Bride by William Goldman. So, oh my god, I cannot believe I actually finally have a copy of this book. I saw that this particular cover had come out probably like a year ago or so. Like, I first saw it in a Schuler's back in closer to my hometown, and I put it off getting it for so long because, for one, I forgot about it, and two, I just never really had the opportunity to get it. But I saw it at Barnes & Noble, it was $10, and I was like, you know, I'm here, I might as well get it. I'm so happy. Like, this is from one of my favorite movies. Like, this book was made into one of my most favorite movies of all time. It is so good. It is such a good story. And I just, I cannot love this book any more than I'm already going to, because I love this story so much. It's one of my favorite stories, and it's just always been one of my favorite, like I said, one of my favorite movies. Oh my god, the end pages even have a map. Oh my god, that's so cute. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, my little heart, my little fangirl heart is just fluttering away. The story is abridged by William Goldman. He's not the original, like, full author of the story. The story actually takes off of a story by an author named S. Morgenstern. With all that good energy aside, I am going to focus that very excited, happy energy into some yoga and just control myself, because I've had a very good day. I've had probably a way better day than I've had the last several weeks, so I'm gonna put that good energy into a nice yoga routine and then sit and meditate for a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna make dinner. And so that's pretty much gonna be all for me today. And as far as tomorrow, I'm not sure exactly how much I'm gonna read tomorrow. I mean, to be completely honest, I think this week is going to be kind of a wash when it comes to me actually doing any work, because I am apparently going to be moving buildings either Wednesday or Thursday, which is like a whole week and a half ahead of what I thought it was going to be. So I have no idea if my work is going to pick up after that, or if I'm still going to be kind of not doing a lot. I do plan on listening, I think, to Bird Box starting tomorrow, at least while I'm at work, because if I have nothing to do, I might as well start listening to that a little bit. And then I think for sure I'm going to at least be starting my next arc, which is going to be The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl. Hey guys, so it is just after 5 o'clock on Tuesday, and I've been home for about a little more than an hour basically. I ended up downloading the audiobook for Bird Box, which is a really weird story. I started it today while I was at work. Today was a lot busier than I expected it to be, so I didn't have a lot of time to listen to it, but I have listened so far to the first couple hours, and it's really interesting. Like, I never really knew much about what the Netflix movie was about that had Sandra Bullock in it, but I always thought it was a really interesting story and an interesting idea where you're not really allowed to see anything on the outside because it could kill you. And that is pretty much the point of the story. Is there's a woman named Mallory who has 2 little kids, and for the last 4 years or so, I think it is, the whole world has essentially been in this fearful state where somehow things start going really awry. 4 years prior, there are these major accidents and everything, and it all starts from people looking at something outside. Nobody really knows what it is. Some people think it's a creature, some people think it's, you know, the apocalypse happening, all this stuff, but literally people start dying left and right. And unfortunately for Mallory, 4 years prior, she ends up becoming pregnant throughout all of this, is kind of forced to fend for herself. And so the story kind of jumps back between when this whole thing started and then also 4 years later with her 2 kids and her trying to essentially protect them from something that is going to be happening. The story doesn't really go much into what exactly she is running from 4 years later, but it is pretty clear that there is something seriously wrong. Like, I think that there's more like a creature. That's kind of what the story is, like, I think building more on, is that there's some kind of a creature involved that is killing people if they look outside and they see it. It's kind of like the basilisk, if you will, from Harry Potter. Like, it's kind of got that same dynamic to it. But so far it's really good. It is very atmospheric. It's very ominous. I have already had a moment where I was shocked by something that happened in the story. It was very gruesome, and I wasn't expecting there to be a lot of horror-based elements. I mean, I guess I should have figured, considering that this is kind of like a horror-based story, because there's monsters, and the movie looked to be very horror-based. I'm interested to see how the rest of the story goes. I don't know if it's going to end up being any good, but for right now, from the very first like couple hours of the audiobook, which is not very long, it's only like 9 hours, it seems pretty good. I just really hope that it continues to be, and that the reveal of exactly what is causing all of this doesn't end up being disappointing, because I think that there is a way that it could be a very disappointing ending with the reveal of whatever it is that, you know, is the cause of all of this destruction and mayhem. But it's got a very cool, like, post-apocalyptic deal to it, and I do like post-apocalyptic stuff. Also, I'm probably tonight not gonna start on my arc just yet. Robert and I kind of want to spend the evening and watch a movie, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl. Maybe like right before I go to bed or something like that. I'll try to get through some of it, but I have no guarantees. But hey guys, so it is Thursday early evening. It's like 10 after 5. I didn't get a chance to update you guys at all yesterday because I was just not really busy, but I was doing a lot yesterday. I ended up so far getting through another few hours of Bird Box. I'm basically at this point, I have a little over 3 hours left of the audiobook. So I'm actually going to be finishing it up tomorrow, but so far it's a solid 4-star. Like, it's pretty good. I really do like the story a lot. I almost wonder though if I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if I had read the physical as opposed to the audiobook. Like, there are just some audiobooks where I'm not as enthralled with the story as I'm listening to it, that I kind of feel like I would be a little bit more enthralled with it as if it was I was reading it physically. And the same happens with some physical books. Sometimes I feel like I might enjoy them more if I read the audiobook. So this one though, the reason I think that I would prefer reading it physically is because there's some very, very descript scenes, especially in the more present parts of the story. So, and also too, the story like plays with things that happened and things that are happening now, kind of thing, like, because it is following a woman who essentially, when all this stuff started happening, where people started dying from seeing something in the outside world, she was pregnant at the time. She had just found out she was pregnant, and the story that is also happening that is like years later, is like 4 years later, she has 2 kids. I really like it though, but I feel like there's some very descript scenes of Mallory being on the river in the later parts of the story, of like her when the kids are about 4, that I would think would come across a little better if I was reading it physically. But I will say that the story itself is really atmospheric and really enthralling for the ominousity of the entire thing. Like, it is very, very ominous and very scary, and I really can see how this story would have translated into a movie easily. Like, it is very easy, I think, for this kind of a story to be made into a movie, because movies are all about setting up an atmosphere. Movies are all about setting up a feeling that you get, especially thrillers and horrors. They set up a lot of times the creepiness factor and the unknown factor of things very well. And so it does not surprise me that Netflix would have picked up this and turned it into a movie, because it translates very well, I think, and just what I would see in my mind. I really also like the structure of the story. Normally, I am not that okay with having it bounce back and forth between past and present, but I think for the purpose of this story, it actually kind of works. The only issue I seem to have though is that I feel like the present is taking too long to understand what's the point of what's going on. Like, the past sections make sense because it talks about Mallory and how she got to where she is now, but the present parts don't seem to truly have an end goal, or I'm not understanding what that end goal was supposed to be, and it is entirely possible that in the last 3 hours of this audiobook that will be answered. So I also do know there is a second novel within this called Mallory. At this point, with 3 hours left of the audiobook, I'm really interested in finding out more about that, and I think I will add it to my list of books that I would like, that are parts of the series that I want to finish. But as far as my other stuff, I have not picked up The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl yet. I haven't really had honestly the mental energy, I think, to sit and read. Today I've actually kind of had a really low mental energy day, so I don't even know what I'm gonna do tonight. My brain is just feeling very foggy today. I've been having a lot of days over the last several weeks, partially because of my growing anxiety of everything, that I have a lot of days where I feel very foggy, where I come home from work and I don't really have a lot of energy anymore, and not because I did a lot at work or anything, but for some reason at some point during the day my brain just decides it wants to be very, very fuzzy and foggy. So hey guys, so it's Friday night. It is going on, I think, 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna end this vlog here. Today I did end up finishing Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars because, like I said, it was really, really good. Very ominous, very atmospheric, and there was really a lot of interesting things that were happening in the story. It was kind of post-apocalyptic. It had a lot of discussions about things like friendship, and I think the real big thriller aspect of it is the fact that it's so unique, in the fact that you are completely blind pretty much through the entirety of the story, because you go around with the main character who has to keep her eyes closed or blindfolded for much of the story, as it seems to be that anything that someone sees within the world is going to essentially kill them. It does make them go crazy. It's never really described, though, what it is exactly that is causing people to go crazy, but we just know that there's something out there that is causing people to go nuts when they look outside. It's really good. The end of the story was kind of interesting as far as how the main character ends up at the end of everything, because it just was kind of unexpected for me. And I'm interested to see what exactly happens in the second book, which is Mallory, which I think is not so much going to go back in time like it did in this one, where the story was split between the before and the after events of what happens for Mallory and her unborn child. And I think this one, I think Mallory goes more into after the events of the most recent thing that's happened, which is at the very end of the story. So I am interested in looking into it more. I'm gonna see if they maybe have the audiobook for it on my Overdrive, but if they don't, I might see if my local library has it, because I do want to maybe read the next one quickly, because I really do like the idea of it, and I'd like to know kind of immediately what happens. Like, I would really like to know as soon as I can, or at the very least I would like to know if it is available to me, if I can get to it at some point. Ooh, do you guys hear that? There's storms coming, I guess. So that was a huge crack of thunder that you all heard. So tonight, I think what I'm going to do for the rest of the night is I'm going to edit my weekend reading vlog a little bit and hopefully get the rest of it finished tomorrow. Or, I don't know, I think I might just sit and figure out what's going on tomorrow, because I also might be having my parents come up and see me, so I have no idea how that's going to work, because then also Saturday night I have a date with Robert. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's vlog. I don't know when I'll do another one. I probably won't for a little while. If you guys would like to see more reading vlogs and things like that along, and maybe even just, you know, weekly vlogs in general, kind of giving updates of my life, stuff like that, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to share with you guys a little bit more of kind of like my general well-being things. I know that several of my videos I've had kind of my mood be up and down, my mental health be kind of all kinds of crazy. Today was really good, actually, and yesterday was not so much, so I'd like to maybe even take you guys a little bit on my journey of trying to find ways of coping with my anxiety, because it's something that's very new to me, and I feel like a lot of people, especially in this day and age, could really find solace in maybe understanding my process with finding it, so that they can kind of find their own way of coping with things. So if you'd like to know more about that, let me know down in the comments below. I'm not going to share too much with it, but I hope that in the future I might be able to share some updates of what I might be doing and what seems to be working, things of that nature, and kind of what it is doing for me personally. So I don't have anything as of yet. I'm still trying to work out some stuff, because I just recently moved to a new building with work, and there's been some major changes with my work life that has major effects on a lot of different things. So I don't have anything set in stone as of yet, but I'm thinking of starting up some kind of system for myself to test out for a good couple weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Starting that up about next week. So if you'd like to know more about that, let me know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.